And the Graveyard on the right-hand side just absolutely slaying out here. Wow, and we see Mohamed Light emoting on everyone. This is insane.
Look at him. Look at this. This is about Mo Light at World Finals last year. In case you guys don't remember, Mohamed Light lost 1 game last year at CRL World Finals.
Okay, yeah,
just
that's ridiculous.
1 game, and that was to a former world champion in LCOP in the very first match of the tournament. Other than that, it was Mo Light 2-0 over Lucas, Mo Light 2-0 over Riley, and then Mo Light 2-0 over Riley again in our grand finals. So Mohamed Light still just really locking in why he is the greatest player in the game, and we'll see how much work he's been putting in this downtime. I mean, we're still seeing him grind. We're still seeing him get to that number 1, number 2, number 3 spot on the leaderboard. I mean, this is Mohamed Light we're talking about. So here we go. This is an exciting best of 3. Game number 1, RG, bottom of your screen. No surprise there. Evo Hunter, I believe, first appearance of the day. Top of your screen, Juicy. Talk to me a little bit about those 4 cards when they're all paired together.
Yeah, we might see a little bit of Splash Yard from Pedro here. The Splash Yard, like, I don't know. The Splash Yard meta is in a really weird spot. After the Tornado nerf, I've even seen a lot of Splash Yard variations that don't even use Tornado. We might be seeing an Ice Wiz plus Evo Witch no Tornado matchup here. And the question here is, how does this deck pair versus RG? I would say in general, it can be difficult to defend the RG, as you're seeing right here, just because once again, you know, the Tombstone isn't getting the job done. The Gob Huts don't get the job done. You need a cannon, you need a Berry Tower, you need an Inferno Tower, something like that. But on the other hand, Mohamed Light doesn't have a big spell. A lot of the time, Splasher can struggle because a Fireball can take out your Ice Wiz, or a Lightning can take out your Witch. No big spell here maybe gives Pedro a solid chance once we're in double elixir.
Yeah, interesting. Maybe trying to hold that Lightning or other big spell for later on in this best of 3. He decides to go with the small spell of the Rage plus the small spell of the Log there. And there you go, Rage dropping in on that Ice Wiz, Log coming out on that Tombstone.
Fisherman gonna pull the Witch here. Mo, but he's just playing patient here. He's up damage, and he's just gonna try and hold on to that. But here's the difficult part for Mo. Though Evo Witch is in cycle, no Lightning in this deck to deal with it. He's gonna have to make some Mo Light plays in order to defend this Evo Witch.
Yeah, and as you were saying, just him playing slow and steady, getting 2 Rages out on that Ice Wiz for a little bit of tower chip damage. 1981 to 2874 here, as we're seeing a bit of a pile up at the bridge, which is to be expected.
And we see another Witch dropping down instead of the Graveyard. He wants to keep spawning in lots of skeletons here, but the Fisherman does clutch. It pulls the Evo Witch to the middle map, and he's able to take it out. That's insane. Pedro just lost all his momentum in this match.
What a snipe there from the Fish Boy. Minute 45 remains here in overtime, and 1981 is the lead for Mo Light as he cycles an RG in the opposite lane of the damage that is done, maybe trying to focus the attention of Pedro to the other side, because that is the weaker tower of Mo on the left-hand side. And as you said, Juice, he's got a massive lead, and there's not a way for Pedro to catch up other than having a great Graveyard come through. So Mo just making him play out of sorts and in his pace, making Pedro play at Mo's pace.
Here comes the Graveyard Barber on the left-hand side. Guards, last card, going to do a great job of defending here. And the Monk on the right, just cleaning up the Baby Dragon, cleaning up almost everything. We do see Pedro get some nice damage through, but there's only 60 seconds left in this game, Andrew.
Skellies from the Graveyard keep that Witch alive. That Evil Witch has been alive for, I don't know, 30 seconds on the right-hand side of the board. Doesn't seem to be much of a threat, though, at the moment for Mo Light, keeping her at bay. And there you go, Fishboy going to take care of her as the battle resumes on the left-hand side of the board. Monk kind of holding everything at the line. Mo goes RG at the bridge, right-hand side.
Log gonna come through. Baby Drag Graveyard is a big threat, but he decides to spend Elixir on defense, and that's why Mo plays this RG. He knows that he's gonna force him to defend, and he's playing another one, forcing him to defend even further, trying to make it so Pedro can't go for that Graveyard.
Right, you know Pedro wants to Graveyard right now on the right-hand side. He's got a great push put together, but that Monk doing a great job against the Ice Wiz Witch combo. RG's coming out. Sometimes the best defense is offense, and that's what we're seeing here from Mohamed Light. Get those RGs out so that my opponent cannot stack Elixir up. And there you go. Good defense, although a lot of damage in. Mo
And the witch on the tower, but it's
No.
not enough. Mohamed Light making the impossible possible, winning versus the Evo Witch without a big spell in game number 1. This is insane.
Yeah, you know, the ability that he has to just play confidently and calm, doing things like cycling rages to tower with like 3 elixir, right? This is that very basic idea brought out to the highest level of gameplay. If you're going up against this deck that you know is going to start to succeed more in double elixir, you know that that pileup is going to happen, you know they have the poison value, and you know the only reason that they're going to be able to beat you is with that knight plus witch plus baby dragon and then the graveyard. You've got to make them spend elixir elsewhere, and that was perfect from our 2-time world champion.
I love what Mo's doing here. He's like, you know what? I'm gonna show you how to play this deck, Pedro. And he literally just straight up copies here. He's got the Evo Witch splash yard here. We're not going to see a tornado, which once again is so strange to me.
It's wild.
Rip tornado 2025. But yeah, we'll see. And it looks like he's going against Pedro using a mortar bait deck. I would say that the Mo probably has a pretty good matchup here, but that's pretty contingent on the spell situation from Pedro. If Pedro does have that lightning for the Evo Witch, it could be difficult to get value from that card.
Yeah, those spears going to also get a lot of value against the graveyard for Pedro there, at least something to think about. And yeah, it's wild, man. It's talking about spears, talking about tornado. Every single time that NATO comes off and doesn't take my spear goblins or other like squishy troops off the board that it used to, I'm always like, is that under level? No, this is it's still, even now, it still throws me off.
And there is the lightning from Pedro, going to clean off the Evo Witch immediately. But the other, like, probably the biggest thing to think about in this matchup, though, is the fact that Pedro is using the Cannoneer version. This is maybe the only time, or one of the only times, we'll actually see a different tower troop other than Princess used. And it just makes it so Mohamed Light can do this. He's going to go for the Graveyard. He doesn't need a tank. He's the Cannoneer, only shoots once every, like, you know, 1.5 to 2 seconds, allowing those skeletons to provide a lot of pressure and value.
As someone that plays Mortar a lot, everyone knows that, but, you know, now with Cannoneer, Mortar Cannoneer is kind of a must. Graveyard is always very frustrating to play against because there is that thing that you just talked about, Juicy, where you can use that Graveyard just so much more liberally. You don't need a tank. You don't need to find an opening. You don't need to have a huge elixir advantage. You can just make them overspend. So we'll see if the greatest in the world can abuse that here against Pedro, who's doing a pretty good job so far. 2270 top right-hand side against 2497. Here we go. Ice Wiz getting tanked for. NATO's back. He does have the NATO. NATO is going to get that Golden Knight just close enough to tower for the Ice Wiz to splash. 2073 with a decent counter push as Pedro goes counter push right-hand side, Mortar left.
Yeah, I mean, Pedro, we know he is probably the best Mortar player in the game. I mean,
whoa, Juicy, whoa. I'm right here.
Okay. Second best Mortar player in the game. Andrew's going to take the cake on that. My bad, Pedro. I mean, the facts are the facts. But he's applying a lot of pressure here. He's making it work. And he's trying to do everything in his power to force Mo to defend, similar to what we saw last matchup, to make it so that the Graveyard isn't going to come down as often on those Cannoneers. But here comes the Graveyard nonetheless.
Yeah, it's tough. You know, that Mortar in the opposite lane is just so much easier to keep controlled than an RG push to the opposite lane. And Pedro definitely feeling that right now as he goes Mortar again. Tombstone, great distraction there. Gets the Tombstone out early, so it's on those skeletons. Skeleton's going to distract. 1295 to 2154 as an Evo Witch has to come out from Mo Light to take care of that Mortar.
And notice the placements that Mohamed Light uses in this match. He's always playing the Witch up high to make it so that the lightning value isn't there. And because of that, Pedro wants to find other ways to defend against the Evil Witch other than lightning it. But that just makes it so it provides even more value. And the Graveyard on the right-hand side just absolutely slaying out here. Wow. And we see Mohamed Light emoting on everyone. This is insane.
Look at him. Look at this. This is the Mo that we want. This is it. He's entered his villain era. He's got the BM out. He's got the Princess Shush in game and in real life. the world champ, the two-time world champ, the greatest of all time, picks up right where he left off, going a quick 2-0 over Pedro.
Yeah, and that's the thing about Mo. I mean, we talk about it so often, but in this off season, you know, once again, this warm up, we're here to see who is practicing the off season, who is ready for Clash Royale League this season. And without a second thought, I already know that Mohamed Light has been grinding. I think most players would get complacent after being the two-time world champion, but Mo, he's been practicing, he's been working hard in the off season, and he's ready to show it. Here it is.
I mean, we know Mo, we know his family, we know his training style, we know him very, very well. Every year, just because it's kind of an interesting conversation to be like, does Mo still have it? It's just wild because year after year after year, he comes back stronger than ever. He comes back adapted to the meta. He comes back playing like he doesn't. There's times